So Helldivers 2 is apparently going through some problems, from straight up destroying hard drives to actual creators getting banned by Arrowhead. There's a lot of drama going on right now in the Helldivers 2 community, and hey, just for the heck of it, I thought we'd go through exactly what is going on, and I'll try my best here to break down exactly what is happening. First of all, I think it's pretty prudent to go into the Steam reviews and see what people have to say here and gauge the reaction from players. And for now, it seems like the Steam reviews themselves are at mixed. Now, I've seen worse when it comes to Helldivers. This is not like the worst rating or the review total that they've had before, because Helldivers 2 has gone through a lot of problems. But if we take a look here at some of the first comments or some of the first reviews, this first review from Pepsi Man, for example, brings up a ton of points here about the game, a lot of its problems. The last point, I think, is the most important part right here. Lastly, and most importantly, the performance is inexcusable for a game of this nature and has been a constant and recurring issue since the introduction of the first urban maps. BeamNG Drive, a high detail soft body driving simulator, runs better in VR in high settings than this game does on NVIDIA's recommended optimized settings. With a 5070, that's a generation above mine, I can get a stable 80 FPS, and when things get hectic, I'll get as low as 40 on recommended settings with a 5070. My friends on a 360 laptop GPU can barely play the game at all. Stability has also been severely affected with the most recent content updates, with constant stuttering and freezing during gameplay. Many players other than myself seem to have issues with recurring crashes as well. Stability and performance are the biggest issues with this game and need to be the top priority. Arrowhead, Sony, please put less focus on new content and live service updates. Please stop nerfing loadouts that are already underpowered or underused with the guise of realism or balance. It's a PvE game. No one cares if people are cheesing hulks with a flag. The game needs to be fun and playable before you can rake in the cash with a new war bond. And the thing is, I recently played through the big update, into the whatever it's called, the expansion where you fight against the big ass worm. And the thing is, it's very fun, but I have to agree, again, like I've talked about this on my main channel, I have a 4090 graphics card. Like, I should have no problems with this. I have one of the more powerful CPUs as well. And so, I've noticed that my FPS drops as well. Like, the game is not performing well even on my setup. And now I've seen console players take this up and say, but hey, just get it on console. And I mean, that's fair. But the problem is that a lot of players on Helldivers 2 are still on PC, so you still want to stabilize it as much as you can, especially so since there's crossplay. So I mean, everybody should have a good performance when they're playing, right? And of course, it is difficult considering that PCs generally have a lot of different setups. But at this point, I feel like there's obviously some problems here, like the fact that the game is way too big than it should be. It is very much a problem because Arrowhead actually goes into it in their first tech blog because people have been screaming about this issue for so long. So here's what they said recently on October the 3rd, which was a couple of weeks ago. Hey, Helldivers, this is the first of what we intend to become a regular series of posts where the engineering team talks about the technical health of the game and some of the technical challenges we're working through. Installation size. The installation size of Helldivers 2 on PC seems to be a hot topic right now, so let's start with that. The current install size on PC is around 150 gigs. That's quite a lot. There are other games that have been bigger, I think Call of Duty possibly, but this is still pretty big for a game that is still relatively early in its life. This is roughly 3 times larger than the same game installed on consoles. Given the amount of content in the game, the size on consoles seemed quite reasonable, so the obvious question is, why is it so large on PC? And that's due to data duplication. Much of the data in PC version of Helldivers 2 is duplicated. The practice of duplicating data to reduce loading times is a game development technique that is primarily used to optimize games for older storage media, particularly mechanical hard disk drives and optical discs like DVD. So what they're saying here is essentially that they're using this technique. Why it's so big is because they're optimizing load time, so you don't have to wait as long between games when you're loading up the game. So I mean, I guess that makes sense. This practice is largely unnecessary for games deployed on an SSD, which is why the console versions of Helldivers 2 do not do this. That kind of makes sense. The problem with mechanical hard drives. The main issue with the mechanical HDD is seek time. time. An HDD stores data on a spinning platter, and a physical arm with a read head has to move across the platter to find and retrieve data. The time it takes for this arm to seek or move to the correct location is a significant performance bottleneck. Imagine a large game level with various objects, trees, rocks, buildings, props. If the data for these objects is scattered all over the drive, the read head has to physically jump around the disk, which adds a lot of time to the loading process. Again, makes a lot of sense. The solution, duplication. To solve this problem, we deliberately duplicate certain data files, like a common tree texture or a sound effect, and place copies of them in physically close proximity to where they would be needed in the game. Now, when you read through this entire wall of text, you'll realize that they're not really saying that, suit yourself for having a mechanical hard drive. That's the first idea you would get from this, but they are apparently working on solutions as best they can to fix it, because the problem with mechanical hard drives is, again, that it's physical, and it's, that's why they have double the size of the game, because it's quicker to load up. And that's not a problem that SSD has. Yeah, I guess that makes sense again. But the problem here is that, and I don't know exactly if the person here or the people that I'm going to be talking about here have mechanical hard drives or if it's SSD hard drives. But for example, this guy, Doug, who is the content creator for Helldivers 2, his hard drive essentially died on him, and he had to go get a new one because it just completely died. Now, I have not looked through the entire video here, but it's still like a big, okay, what? A content creator who has their entire drive just completely die on them when playing Helldivers 2. That's pretty crazy. And there was another content creator that was going through the same thing. So this is definitely one of those problems that you just can't ignore. See here, Helldivers 2 hard locked my PC. And I'm sorry, I had to laugh a little bit, but it's kind of absurd. Let's be frank here. This really shouldn't happen. But we're seeing things like this happen with Helldivers 2. Unfortunately, it's just, that's what's going on right now. Hopefully, Arrowhead can fix this as soon as possible, find a solution to this, because it's kind of unforgivable. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, your hard drive just completely dies on you, and you know what game it is that crashed your PC, and he's not the only one. So this is a terrible, terrible situation that Arrowhead are finding themselves in, and they have found themselves in quite a few situations ever since launch. There's a lot of discussions about their community managers, like how they react with the community and how they talk with people. There's a lot of stuff going on with Helldivers 2, and it's kind of interesting because on the other hand, you're like, yeah, but okay, I get this side, and then you look at the other side and you're like, well, but then again, that side. What I find most interesting here, and what I find most shocking especially, is a situation not that doesn't really have to do with the performance side of things, but the fact that there are two creators as well that were affected by direct contact with Arrowhead. So first we have Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear here. This guy is pretty big. Well, he has over 350,000 subscribers. He's pretty big in Helldivers. He's somebody people generally watch a lot and trust a lot when it comes to Helldivers 2 content. He got banned from their creator program because he refused to do something that Arrowhead wanted him to do. They wanted him to change something in his video or in his script, and he said no, and then they said, okay, you're out. So it's like, what? Well, hold on, what are you doing, Arrowhead? I'm a Swede too. You guys are really putting the stress on the Swedishness right here. I usually felt pretty proud to be a Swedish person because Arrowhead are Swedish, and I was like, oh damn, these guys are cool. They made a really cool game, and people were celebrating Arrowhead as one of the best studios out there currently. Now it's just going the opposite direction. And this was not the only situation here. No. It wasn't just Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear. It was this guy as well, Arrowhead, who was apparently also a creator that people have been, that he's been growing a lot and people enjoy watching his stuff. And he actually talked with Arrowhead, and he had been wanting to get in on this program, this creator program, right? But they continually, like, if you got to watch the video, I'll link it down below and you'll have to see it for yourself in the description. But essentially, they led him on for so long, and they said that they were fans of his content, or that they, maybe not fans, but they did watch his content. And they essentially said that as soon as you send in your request, yada, 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 we'll invite you in, yada, yada, yada. And the idea was that he was supposed to come to Sweden with a bunch of other content creators, perhaps, you know, Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear and other creators as well, to try out some new content before it gets out to the public. The thing is, he was led on for so long, and he was in a group chat with several other creators in the Helldivers 2 space, and they were all like wondering, where are you, dude? Like, why aren't you here? And the crazy thing is, he had not been invited because Arrowhead just did not invite him at the end of the day, while they had said that they would. And it's such a crazy, really unfortunate situation that puts a terrible, terrible name on Arrowhead as a studio, because this has been a studio that people have been raising up as such a great studio, that they listen, they work with feedback, they work with creators. They're, you know, they Johan Pillestedt, the guy who was in charge of Arrowhead before, like, people have generally liked Arrowhead a lot, but suddenly, like, they're facing this drop off in public perception. And I do wonder, like, how this is possible, how they can keep messing up so much time after time, like, ongoingly. There has been a lot of performance issues. Of course, some people might not have noticed it because they play on console. A lot of people notice it because they're playing on PC. But at the end of the day, we have these situations with, like, community managers. We have Arrowhead promising to invite, like, creators to their programs and then they don't do it. And so it's like this, the game is getting this reputation now where people are just quitting, both due to performance, but also because they want to stand in solidarity with some of these creators that feel like they were unjustly treated, essentially. So that's essentially the current Helldivers 2 situation in a nutshell. It's an ongoing situation, and I'd love to talk about it more on this secondary channel. You might be wondering, hey, why isn't he uploading this on his main channel? Because I felt like it's finally time that I separate my content, you know. I like doing commentary videos. I like doing videos that are more like deep dive structures and theory videos and stuff like that. And I'll keep that on the main channel. But for this one, I was, you know, thinking, hey, I should probably do more news-worthy stuff. I'll try to build up this channel to be more like live streamy. I'll have more live streams here. That's the idea, that this is going to be like the live stream channel, just commentary channel, news channel, like everything that surrounds gaming in general. I think that's probably the best way we can go forward right now when it comes to content from my channel, because it's getting a little bit, you know, all over the place on the main channel. So yeah, we'll do this stuff right here. So remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your thoughts on this entire situation below, because I do love Helldivers 2 as a game, but this, like, what is happening? As a Swede, this really sucks, because Arrowhead, again, has been one of those studios that you've been looking up to for quite a while, and to see them just, you know, kind of just digging their own grave here, it's just, it fucking sucks, man. But let me know. Maybe this is overblown. Maybe this isn't an issue at all. Let me know in the comments below. Take care of yourselves. Mr. Olten signing off.